You know him, you love his work on NBC Sports. He joins us every Tuesday. Today it's at 4:20 on the Fan Hotline. John Fanta, what's up, buddy?
Misery loves company, everybody. Good afternoon.
So if the Jets come a-calling for Shedeur Sanders, are you listening?
Man. Yes. I mean, I would listen to the phone call. I would probably start the phone call by saying, really? Really? But the Jets are not going to call on Shedeur Sanders because, like, this world of hypotheticals, and I'm all for guys, and when I get it, when you got a football team that's 1-5 in Cleveland and a football team that's 0-6 in New York and looks like a one-and-done coach, like I can get playing around and trying to be creative with talking points, but that's all that this is. And fifth rounder back, I mean, like you said, generous offer. I mean, I'm not doing that because I drafted him. I drafted Shedeur Sanders. Like, you're paying Justin Fields $20 million in 2026. It's on the books, and you're the ones that gave him a 2-year, $40 million contract. So, like, to the Jet fans who are frustrated, also, like, please stop acting as though a different quarterback would do that much better. You know, they are, man, they've been a hot mess. That November 9th game, I mean, to tell you, that game should be flexed into, you know, a Super Bowl time slot at MetLife Stadium between the Browns and Jets. So I'm listening. I'm probably laughing on the other end of the phone, but no, I'm not trading Shedeur Sanders because Shedeur Sanders is going to get a shot. You know, if you thought it was going to come by now, then you haven't been paying attention. But there's 18 weeks in the National Football League season. He's going to get a shot here at some point. I don't know when that's going to be, but it's going to happen because it's the Cleveland Browns, and we've gone through quarterbacks. You know, we've gone through quarterbacks like Nick Wilson and I can go through a night out and have some chicken wings. Like, it's going to happen. So it's week 6 and going into week 7. Like, come on, please.
Burgers were right there on the table, and you went chicken wings.
Yeah,
that just you didn't want to bring up the idea that you had a lot of belief in this team before the season got underway, John, and it's not going very well. And I understand that. I get that. I don't even blame the optimism. I appreciate the optimism that you had.
I appreciate the burger.
Everyone can appreciate everything. But the point is that when you look at Dillon Gabriel, you said that Shedeur is going to play at some point this season. When you're thinking about
right.
Dillon and how you looked in the first 2 weeks, are we going to see that point sooner rather than later? Will this be a Joe Flacco type scenario where all it takes is 4 games before the Browns say, okay, uncle, we've seen enough, or will we get a longer runway than that?
I think he'll get a longer runway than that, JP and Nick. But then again, you know, we could say what we think. Clearly, they don't have much of a plan, because if they did, it wouldn't have been handled the way that this has been handled. I mean, this is a sign of a breakup. You know, the coach and the general manager, for the first time publicly, don't seem to be on the same page, or are not on the same page, because Mike Tomlin comes out with those remarks about Joe Flacco. That signals to me that Mike Tomlin sees something and he feels as though he wants to go to bat for his guy, Kevin Stefanski. No matter what you say about the Browns and their missed decisions and stuff and the errors that they've made, one thing that you could say is they seem to be in lockstep. You know, you saw the video of Stefanski and Barry after the win over the Packers. That emotion, that reaction, it did say something about these two guys know that they're kind of tied at the hip. They're in this thing together. Well, now, you know, the Flacco thing happens. Stefanski's starting to crack a little bit. Like, you could just sense it, if not a lot of it, by his standards. That being said, I think it's going to be longer than just a couple of weeks, because I think Dillon Gabriel will play better. Like, I do think this Sunday, Dillon Gabriel's got to play better. I mean, it's not as if he follows some long line of Browns quarterbacks who have found rich success in Pittsburgh, nor alone a long line of rookie quarterbacks who have found success against a Mike Tomlin coach team, nor alone in Pittsburgh. But I think that this game this Sunday is it does feel as though, like, if there's any sort of gut left in this football team, if there's any, and I don't think that there is. I'm not suggesting there is. I don't think that there is. But if there's anything left in the tank, then you have to think that they try to exhaust it on Sunday. The weather conditions look like it could be favorable to the Browns, could be their type of game, could be the defense's type of game. We're going to find out. We're going to see what's left in the tank. I mean, you'd imagine not much. They were never winning on Sunday. I know the offense was pedestrian. The weapons are not good. Jerry Jeudy is not a number 1 or number 2 receiver in the National Football League anymore. The weapons are not good. They're not conducive for a rookie quarterback. So and I'll treat Shedeur the same way on this show. If Shedeur goes out there and fails, like Dylan Gabriel, he has not been good. This is not a setup for success, though. Let's be real. I think it'll be longer, though, than just the next 2 or 3 games.
John, looking to Stefanski and Barry, if we put in the totality of the 5+ years, who do you think has done a better job at their individual job? Kevin Stefanski as a head coach or Andrew Barry as a GM?
Kevin Stefanski, because he still made the postseason with Joe Flacco as the quarterback of the team. And he had to set that up and make it work. And he had, I know that Andrew Barry has had some hits, guys, but he's had far, far, far more misses. He's had far more misses. He has not helped Kevin Stefanski a whole lot. And when you looked at, like, up until this rookie class, and we don't even know what this rookie class will bring long term, but when you look at the hit rate on second contracts for Andrew Barry, it is not good. It is not that of a guy who should still be a general manager in the National Football League. So I'm going to vote for Stefanski, and I know JP, if there's pushback on this, I would welcome it on this one. I know I lost the Stephen Vogt versus Kevin Stefanski debate, and I was really glad to lose that debate, by the way. But if I'm comparing the coach to Andrew Barry, I still will side with the coach, and that actually might be more of a reflection of how poorly I think of Andrew Barry right now. Because I just look at this team. The offensive line is as bad as any in the league. The weapons on the team from a personnel standpoint are either young or don't have the ability to perform at a winning level in the NFL anymore. So the setup's not there. The roster was set up poorly. It was. And, yeah, you could blame Deshaun Watson all you want. And I'm starting to get fired up now, and things are going the wrong direction in my reflection here, because at the end of the day, when I look at this football team, there are so many things that I say from a personnel standpoint that say not a playoff team, not even a team that's in the middle of the road. That's a losing player, or that's a player that there's a reason why he's in Cleveland. There's too much of that. And the demise of this collective roster, it set them not just a year or two back, it set them a while back. The coach has struggled. His message is stale. His scheme is stale. But Andrew Barry has not put a personnel package on the field that many coaches would have much more success with than this.
So the only pushback I would have, and listen, I want you to know where I side on this to begin with. I'd fire them both. Okay, I'd take them both. I'd shoot them off to the moon. I'd be done with both of them.
By the way,
no questions asked.
I agree with that, but that wasn't the question.
Agreed, and I appreciate you answering the question the way that you did, because you circled in the Scantron bubble and you chose something, which is nice.
Yep.
That was the point. But in the defense of Andrew Barry, this is the only thing I would say, and I want to see if you agree or not. We all agree that this roster stinks for this season, and this roster has not been set up in a very productive way for Kevin Stefanski. But if that was actually the goal of this season, if the job that Andrew Barry was tasked to do is take that poison pill for this year and set it up in a way where you can position yourself for the draft and position yourself for 2026, I can make an argument, you're not going to like it, but I can make an argument that he's actually performing his job at a higher level than what we've seen previously with Andrew Barry. Because there's no way, John, that he looked at the offensive line and the wide receiver room if he was really trying to win games and thought this was good.
But then your argument's proven, JP, by my side's proven by the fact that then, okay, so the general manager set up this team to be this way. Mm-hmm. How is the head coach expected to win football games?
No, but that's why, in theory, that's why I think a lot of people believe, and a lot of people that are in Berea and around these guys believe that because of the situation and the setup, they're not going to end up with their jobs being gone because they weren't given a true chance to even try to win this year. And if Haslam is the decision that matters, and Haslam is the decision maker, and the only person that matters, if he knows this was the directive and he's on board with it, you can come up with a theory where he thinks both of them are doing their job right now.
You could come up with that theory, and that's fine. Kevin Stefanski still has 2 NFL Coach of the Year honors on his shelf. And Kevin Stefanski has had, in one of those seasons, a short deck of cards. There's no question about that. The fact that they made the playoffs in 2023 was a pretty incredible accomplishment when you consider who was playing the quarterback position in the final tier of the regular season. But they're 4-19. You cannot just, in their last 23 games, you cannot justify bringing, I don't care, it's not about the Browns. This is Cleveland Browns aside. We have reached Hugh Jackson levels here this season. And you all know what class that is. You can't justify bringing them back. You can't. You just can't do it. How do you expect people to sit down and watch that?
It'd be really tough. But if the guy in charge, if Haslam thinks they're performing the task that they were asked to do, and because he knows that, you can't publicly put out and say we're going to just stink up the joint. But he knows whether or not they're doing their job. Then if they were given the mulligan that Albert Breer suggests that they were given for Deshaun Watson, you can make an argument in the eyes of Jimmy Haslam they are in fact performing the job that they're intended to do.
Yes, but I could still go into the office place and say you've got a grace period, you've got a mulligan. And I could still be looking over my shoulder.
I would be if I were them. I would be if I were them.
What? Yeah, absolutely. They have to be. They have to be. And I think you could tell. Would you guys not agree? For the first time that these two are not on the same page, the Flacco thing signaled it. When has Kevin ever broken a little bit? He never breaks. He always gets the criticism that he doesn't break. It was clear as day that he said it caught us by surprise. The infighting's begun. Todd Haley thought he was going to step up and be the interim. He's shown the door. He was shown the door. Nice plan, buddy. It's not going to work. I could be told I have a mulligan. I could. But in this profession, in this league, the messaging and the quotes and oh, wow, everybody. Jimmy Haslam might not have been telling the truth. Shocker. Shocker.
John, you're a gentleman. About 25 seconds, though. Is the offense fixable this year?
No, it's not. This because the profile of it's just not good enough. I mean, they can't run the ball consistently. They can't throw the ball. I think there's your 15 seconds. I did it in 15 seconds. I kind of want to see Shedeur at this point because I'm so tired. I'm tired of hearing about it, guys. I want to see it. But, can I definitively then say whether he's great or not? Not with the personnel around him. That's what's saddest about this whole thing.
John, great stuff, buddy. Appreciate you. Can't wait to talk to you next week.
It can only get sunnier. It really can only get sunnier.
Not this time of the year.
Yeah, I was going to say we are going into winter time, late
time
fall.
of the year for that.
Kind of a rough thing to say, John, if you don't live in Northeast Ohio anymore.
It gets darker.
Thanks, guys. I'm going to go watch The Shining.
All right, John Fanta there.